Today we're on to the world's craziest animation by Zack Films, from seeing people live in the bodies of whales to seeing people fart at the same time.
The criminal's head.
Woo! Woo! Wow, okay, we started out strong, huh? We started out strong, okay.
It was cut off and then cleaned to remove blood and tissue. Then it was soaked in a chemical that kills bacteria and preserves tissue. The head was then placed inside a glass jar, which was filled with more of this chemical, and the jar was sealed, making sure it was airtight. This process kept the heads intact, so they could be studied later.
If you think this was crazy, bro, these animations from Zack Films only get crazier throughout the video.
They cut into her face to tighten loose skin around her cheeks
Ew.
and eyes. You see, she had flown overseas for the surgery because it was cheaper.
Turkey.
And when she arrived, the clinic was in a hospital's basement. And after the operation, they wrapped her up and sent her home the same day. But her scars didn't heal correctly, and they pulled her skin too tightly. This stretched her eyelids, preventing them from closing all the way. Now she lives with dry, burning eyes that water constantly, and they'll never fully shut again.
That's so sad. Oh my gosh.
They put a tack on her chair.
Are you serious? Oh, okay.
The joke.
Yo.
And when she it pierced her skin. She let out a yell before laughing at the prank. But a few days later, she began to feel sick.
Oh.
You see, the tack actually had bacteria on it, which entered her bloodstream through the wound. The infection quickly spread, causing severe blood poisoning. Doctors did everything they could, but unfortunately, she didn't make it.
Wait, that's actually so sad. And by the way, bro, all of Zack Films videos are based on the true story. None of it is fiction, so this is tragic. This one's actually sad. The fact that she laughed makes it look like the person who put the attack on the chair was her friend. Can't imagine how they felt afterwards. That's so sad, bro.
The ghost of the dead woman
Whoa!
appeared to her mother.
What the heck?
Her husband had claimed that she died from a heart attack, but the ghost insisted he had actually strangled her in a fit of rage. After 4 nights of haunting, they finally dug up her body, and shockingly, the autopsy confirmed her neck had been broken. The husband was arrested and put on trial, where the jury convicted him of murder based on the testimony of a ghost.
What? Based off a ghost? For those wondering, in the 1900s, this was a legend, and a girl went to her grave and the ghost started begging her to help her. Wow.
If you dropped a nuke on a hurricane, you might think the force would be enough to completely destroy it. But hurricanes release the same amount of energy as a 10 megaton bomb every 20 minutes.
Every 20
That's
minutes.
almost 700 times bigger than the bomb dropped on Hiroshima. To destroy a hurricane, you'd need to change the air pressure at the eye of the storm. But even the biggest nuclear bomb in the world would only change it for a few seconds. So instead, you would need to drop 700 nukes, one after the other, to destroy the hurricane completely.
Yeah, Zack Films, of course I got nukes in the back of my hand, bro, in my inventory, bro. Florida be taking notes. That's actually a scary thought. You just wasted a good nuke. The hurricane still comes smiling at you while carrying radioactive materials in the wind. So that's actually pretty scary.
The paper cylinder rotates, showing pictures of a horse through slits on the side. But when it spins fast, it looks like the horse is running. That's because your eyes still see the first image before the next one quickly replaces it.
Damn, we're
and
slow.
This creates the illusion of motion. Today, instead of cylinders, screens now show dozens of pictures every second. Your eyes blend those fast-moving frames into what looks like smooth, continuous motion, but it's essentially the same idea.
That's very cool, bro. The horse, I've been running for 150 years. Can I get a break? Respect to the horse for running this long.
A red-hot iron is pushed into the tree, wounding it on purpose. Then a syringe filled with salt water is emptied inside the hole. This causes the tree to flood the damaged area with sticky resin to stop the damage. And over the next few years, the resin slowly spreads, turning into a sweet-smelling wood deep inside the trunk. Finally, it's harvested and sold for thousands of dollars per pound before being made into a luxury perfume.
Did we just we just unlocked the method, bro. For those wondering, agwood is the fragrance ingredients in this demonstration. Oh, okay. Keep in mind, you can't use any tree. It's specific types of tree. Okay, I was about to say, I was like, bro literally just gave us the method to make millions of dollars.
A butterfly's tongue is as thin as a strand of hair and hollow like a tiny straw, and it could be threaded through the eye of a needle. Now, if you took a hippo's tongue and dropped it onto a microwave, it would cover the entire surface. But the blue whale's tongue is so massive that if you plopped it onto a car, the 5-ton muscle would crush the metal completely, flattening it like a pancake.
Whoa, that's crazy. From tiny to giant tongues. Wow. This is exactly why Zack would never run out of things to post, bro. Bro, I learned better from Zack D films than from school, bro. It's actually saying, bro.
He lit the dynamite, ready to throw it out of the garage door. But his friends rushed in, unknowingly blocking the opening. So instead, he aimed for a nearby window. But it hit the frame and bounced back, exploding on the man.
That's so
They
lucky.
rushed to a boat to take him to the nearby hospital, but the waves on the river were too high, and halfway there, the man stood up, then fell overboard. He disappeared into the water and was never seen again.
Oh, bro, that's unlucky, bro. Imagine missing the window, bro, and now your life changed. That's tragic, bro. This is like failing every single multiple choice question on the test.
If everyone on Earth farted at the same time, you might think the combined release of gas would create an unprecedented explosion. But is this actually true? Well, human farts can contain trace amounts of highly flammable gas.
Wait, really?
If all 8 billion people released this gas, it still wouldn't be enough to have a serious impact. It would just cause loud sounds and intense smells.
Damn.
If you skateboarded down
Whoa!
the slope would rapidly accelerate you, reaching
That's so
speeds
scary.
of up to 50 to 90 miles per hour.
That's
and
so
beyond.
fast.
Now, the curvature of the dam structure would make it incredibly difficult to maintain control. And if you somehow managed to stay on, the friction between the wheels and the concrete would probably start to generate some heat. Now, some people might think it could get so hot that it would start to burn the board and your feet. But this probably wouldn't happen.
Nah.
Approaching the bottom, the rapid deceleration would be abrupt.
Oh my gosh, I hate that. That the ending was perfect, came in like a left hook. Yes, sir.
Premature babies were put in glass boxes and displayed at the carnival.
What the
and
frick?
Millions of people would pay just to look at them.
What the
Diamond
heck?
rings were slipped over their arms to show just how tiny they actually were. But these boxes were actually early incubators, pumping warm air inside. They kept the babies healthy as they struggled to survive, and the carnival show actually saved more preemies than the hospitals did.
What? Y'all don't believe that, bro. This is actually crazy, bro. World's craziest animation by Zack D Films, bro. The fact that this is the carnival save more babies than the hospital's insane, bro. I don't believe it, bro. This is so like, I don't even think uncanny is the word. It's so just out of the ordinary.
He read each answer out loud, and when he reached the correct one, someone in the crowd coughed. He would then choose that answer, and it looked like he guessed right every time. Finally, he won the grand prize. But when the producers rewatched the footage, they noticed it was always the same audience member coughing, and this only happened on the correct answers. You see, the person coughing was actually his wife, and with another man's help, she coughed the right answers to her husband on stage. All three were found guilty, and even though he technically won, the prize money was never paid.
What? Oh, that's unfortunate. I was rooting for the guy competing, bro. I read this story. It's a whole documentary. Damn, really?
If everyone on Earth peed into the Grand
What are we
Canyon,
doing,
you
bro?
might think it would fill up in less than a day. But the Grand Canyon can hold about 1.2 quadrillion gallons, and the average person pees about half a gallon a day. So if all 8 billion people peed at the same time, they'd only add about 4 billion gallons of pee. At that rate, it would take over 800,000 years of constant peeing to fill it up.
That's so nasty, bro. Ew, bro. What the? This is why Zack would never run out of content, bro. Like, bro's answering drunk questions. Yo, Zack D Films, bro. Sometimes he just goes too far, but hey, we love him, bro. Because he's educational, funny, and traumatizing.
He woke up to banging coming from downstairs.
Boom, 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 boom.
The clock read 3:34
Oh, that's
a.m.
scary. That's
he
scary.
checked his parents' room. Empty. He went downstairs, but as he reached the living room, he saw men stealing the TV.
No.
Terrified, he ran upstairs and locked his door. Then the banging started. He woke
again,
up, believing it was a dream.
Whoa,
but the clock still
whoa.
read 3:30.
Whoa, wait, that's scary.
Scared, he went downstairs to reassure himself, but the men were in the kitchen yelling at his parents. He ran back upstairs just as the banging started. He woke up again. It was 3:34 a.m. This time, he stayed awake for 36 hours, haunted by the endless loop. He woke up
and there's a loop at the end. That's insane. Wait, hold on. That's kind of crazy though. So for those wondering, a sleep terror, also known as a night terror, is a sleep disorder when a person, often a child, suddenly wakes up from the deep sleep in a state of intense fear and panic, often screaming or thrashing, but without a clear recollection of the event in the morning. Okay, I see. That's just terrifying.
After colliding with the iceberg,
oh no,
a man calmly helped load lifeboats and eventually threw reluctant passengers into safety. But instead of securing his own spot, the man returned to his cabin for another drink. When the ship finally sank, he stepped off the stern, plunging into the icy waters. The alcohol in his system kept him calm, and the man claimed it's what kept him alive. Finally, a lifeboat rescued him, and despite the freezing temperatures, the man survived with little more than swollen feet.
What? Yo, being drunk can actually be superpowers. Just use it at the right times, like in these situations, bro. Man saves reluctant passengers and then reluctantly gets saved himself. Poetic. This man survived because he deserved to survive. Hey.
When the stranger got an answer wrong, he would press a button that would shock them. And this was all part of an experiment. Each time this happened, the shock got stronger until the stranger screamed and begged to stop. But a man in a lab coat tells you to keep going, so you do. Even when you think the stranger has collapsed on the floor in pain, you keep listening to the man in the lab coat. Now, what you don't know is that the shocks actually aren't real, and the stranger is an actor. You are actually the real test subject. You see, despite the cries, you keep going, even to the point of possibly killing the person, just because an authority figure in a lab coat told you to. And this experiment was actually done in the 60s, proving how far ordinary people will go when we think we're just following orders.
Oh, that's scary, bro. That's actually sad. And I bet like this experiment showcased that like many people went with the guy in the lab coat. Well, that's actually tragic. The author of these controversial statements was Stanley Milgram, a Yale University psychologist. Ooh.
The rooster is placed under a bowl with garlic rubbed on the back.
What the
and
heck?
Suspects are told it'll crow if the thief touches it. Each person enters the room and touches the bowl. As they leave, the trickster smells each person's hand. If it reeks of garlic, they touched the bowl. So they're probably innocent. But if one hand smells like nothing, that person never touched the bowl because they were afraid the rooster would give them away, meaning the thief is exposed without the rooster doing anything.
Hey, you know what? If it worked, it worked. You know what I'm saying? If it worked, it worked. I mean, I don't know what to say. Being at a mercy out of a rooster is an experience for a lifetime, for real.
He gulped down a live
goldfish
in front of a crowd as a dare. A few weeks later, someone else said they could swallow 24 of them.
Oh, what the heck?
101
Yo, this is so creepy.
The stunt made headlines, and students across the country were swallowing live goldfish to outdo each other.
That's crazy.
But animal rights groups protested, while doctors warned of tapeworms. And a state senator even proposed a law to protect the fish.
Heck?
By the end of spring, the craze faded. But for a brief moment, swallowing goldfish was the ultimate college dare.
Yo, that looks creepy, bro. Look at this. Oh, hell nah. Them eyeballs.
Her hand got stuck inside the Easy Bake Oven while it was still turned on, and the heating element inside burned her finger. She finally managed to pull it out, but the burn was so severe that doctors had to amputate her finger. Now this happened because the toy was redesigned, replacing the light bulb inside with an actual heating element. But after hundreds of children were injured, the oven was recalled.
Did they get sued? Please tell me they get sued. Poor innocent children. They're just trying to bake some cookies, and now they get their finger amputated, bro. What? Crazy. The fact that it took 100 children to be injured just for it to be recorded is insane, bro. Oh my gosh.
He was shot in the balls, and this happened because those balls burst, releasing over 300,000 gallons of sperm.
Nice one. I think we have it there, guys, for the world's craziest animations by Zack Films. If you guys want to see more content like this, click this video here.